Welcome. It's the Latch-Key Dads reporting live from Times Square. How's the weather, Ryan? It seems Ryan is having some audio difficulty. Greg, how about that weather report?
Well, Tim, it's a bit wet with this light rain, but temperatures are balmy.
Thanks, Greg. Say, I feel like there is something that we are supposed to be reporting on other than the weather. Oh, right. Happy New Year. Hey, Greg.
Hey, Tim.
How you doing?
I'm all right. Yourself?
Yeah, pretty good.
All right.
So we had New Year's Eve just a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And, it always makes us think about the past as well as the future.
Sure.
And I was thinking about some of my past New Year's Eves, and
Yeah.
a lot of mine are pretty similar, a lot of the same stuff.
Especially as you get older, right?
Yeah. It's
Cut and paste.
yeah, pretty much. But it did make me think, were there any New Year's from your past, like maybe when we were kids or anything like that really stick out that you really had a fun time or something crazy happened?
Actually, yeah. Now that I think about it, I do always vividly remember where I was on December 31st, 1989.
Ooh, all right.
It was the first, I was a freshman in high school, and it was the changing, the new decade. And I certainly didn't remember the 70s to the 80s, right? We were,
Sure.
4 and 5 years old. So it was like kind of cool to be like on the precipice of, wow, it's a new decade, well, what's the future going to hold?
Yeah.
And starting high school, I met some new friends, and it was kind of like a new experience. And I got invited to his house for a party. So it's a bunch of guys I barely knew, right? And his dad was having a party at the same time. So there's lots of adults there as well. And I remember, because it was a new friend, my mom embarrassed the heck out of me because before I was allowed to go, she had to call and talk to his dad first, which was just so embarrassing. I'm like, oh, Mom, please don't. She was, well, then you're not going to go. So I'm like, okay. So she called, and which, I became, actually, he's a good friend of mine in high school, still friends with him today.
Yeah.
But it was like one of those parties, freshman, and the dad's there, and, don't touch the beer, and, all that kind of stuff. But we did manage to sneak one light beer out of a cooler from the garage. And we just thought we were so cool, Tim. There were 6 of us and a beer. And of course we divided it evenly among bathroom Dixie cups. And we're all sitting around drinking it like we thought we were like, super cool.
That's funny.
Yeah. And then we went outside and shot bottle rockets at each other. So that was fun.
Yeah. That's pretty much my New Year's every year. So.
Yeah. Still to this day, right?
Yeah. No, it sounds like you had a much more exciting New Year's in 89. I'm pretty sure that I was with my parents. And, I think we went to the Ground Round, which was
love the Ground Round.
Yeah. And they would have their every half an hour ball drop where they would have everybody cheer and pretend it was midnight, even though it was 7:30 at night or something. And I think we got our ice cream in the little baseball helmet,
of course, right?
The desserts, and probably went home and watched Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's Eve and threw some confetti and But yeah.
Now, did your Ground Round, because going to Ground Round was a big treat when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
Did your Ground Round have the free popcorn machine?
Oh yeah.
In the foyer?
Yeah.
And arcade games.
Yeah. Yeah. And the popcorn, we would just stuff ourselves on popcorn before we even got our meal, and it's like, as a kid, you just had that bottomless stomach.
Yeah.
You could eat ice cream and popcorn and never be full. But yeah, those were good times.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Any other specific memories of New Year's Eve growing up? Do you remember the first time you stayed up till midnight to celebrate it?
I mean, I have these pretty vivid memories of, being a kid and thinking I stayed up.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that my parents either would turn the clocks, or something to make us think that it was later than it actually was.
Okay.
And, flashing forward to when our kids were younger, they're, maybe 7 years old or younger and wanting to stay up late.
Mm-hmm.
And so there were a few years where we legitimately turned the clocks forward. We found a previous year or some other, online ball drop. We did the whole thing, and by 8:30 everybody was in bed because, they thought they had stayed up till midnight.
Yeah.
And they're just finding out now that they didn't.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I remember like one of the first times I stayed up till midnight as a kid. We at my aunt's house, and we decided it was getting late. It was like 11:30 or something, and we're all getting tired. So we're like, well, let's play a game until it's time. And we got so engrossed in the game that we completely missed the ball drop. And we like looked up to the clock. It was like 12:10, and we're like, oh, I guess we missed it. Yeah. Yay! Happy New Year. Go to bed.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I feel like there was a few years where we'd be watching the ball, coming down, and we'd be like, I don't think the timing's right. Like it seemed like they were trying to like get it, and they'd get to zero, and the ball was still kind of falling down. But it's amazing that they've continued to keep that tradition alive.
It is.
I don't know how old the original. I don't know if it's original mechanism or if they've changed it over the years. I don't know much about it, but I thought it was like crystals made by some
Waterford.
Yeah, I think you're
or something of that nature.
But
I did have. Oh, go ahead. No, I did find some stats on the New Year's the Times Square. I don't know. Give me a second. I might have to find them. So go ahead and vamp.
Well, I thought it was always cool, to see, Dick Clark, obviously, because that was sort of his tradition that, they did the Rockin' New Year's Eve. And then for years, it seemed like they were slowly transitioning him out. And every year it was like smaller and smaller amounts of time. And then I was kind of sad, though, when he finally, wasn't able to do it anymore. And
it was such a staple.
Yeah. And I guess Seacrest is really, got his place in the world now that he'll always be the host. But yeah.
I think he owns it.
Oh, really?
I think it's Ryan Seacrest bought it from Dick Clark. I think. I could be wrong. We'll have to do that report card on that. But I think I remember hearing something like that. Yeah. So I did find my statistics about Times Square.
All right.
If you're interested.
Let's have it.
So there's around 1 million people in Times Square every year, which is insane. Yeah. Thinking about that.
Yeah. 1 million Depends diapers have been sold.
Right. Well, that's one of the interesting things is once you enter the Times Square area zone, you can't leave. Yeah. So.
Yeah. No thanks.
I'm over 40 now. I need a restroom every now and again, and I'm not holding it for 6 hours. Yeah. And especially you might be having a beer or two, right, or soda or something.
Yeah, something to keep you hydrated.
There are 17,000 security cameras in Times Square for New Year's Eve. 7,000 police officers and 17. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. I have 175 million people in the United States watch the ball drop, and they predict around 1 billion worldwide.
Wow!
Right, and just one more. If you were to guess, Tim, how much confetti do they drop in Times Square?
By pounds? Or okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 5 tons of confetti.
A little less than that, actually. It's 1.5 tons of confetti.
It's still pretty amazing. I was trying to shoot high, but even so, 1.5. That's pretty nuts.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Well, it's funny you mentioned confetti because when I was a kid, we had this one bag. It was like a little sandwich bag with these little round pieces of confetti that were, it looked almost like wrapping paper, but it was like thicker.
Yeah. And
every year when I was little, we would throw the confetti and then we would scoop it all back up because we had like this green shag carpet, and we would scoop it all back up and we'd put it back in the sandwich bag. And we used that same confetti probably for, I don't know, I'll say like 8 or 9 years. When I was
so
little,
funny.
We used the same bag of confetti. We got our money's worth.
Your parents are like, why are we throwing it away? We got to clean it up anyway, right?
Yeah.
That is too funny.
Yeah. But my mom has continued, like they were like the metal like noisemakers that would rattle and stuff.
Yeah.
She's continued to collect those like all throughout her life. And she's got this, big collection of the noisemakers and stuff. Yeah.
That is fantastic.
Yeah. I did remember one memory. This was pretty wild. Craig. Yeah. Prepare yourself.
Okay.
I'm sitting down. One year, we got a hat for our cat. And I just remember, he was, cats don't like things on their heads to begin with.
They don't.
Had all these like feathers that kind of hung down around his face. He was so mad. Wild and crazy times.
Wild and crazy. What was the cat's name?
The cat's name was Sam.
Sam.
Yeah.
Sam the cat.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think at that point it was a mother and son cat. I think the mother, I don't know if she was around, but that was Snuffy.
Snuffy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it was short for Snuffle Up, I guess, but maybe it was. I don't know.
It could have been, yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Do you remember any particular memories with the kids other than, pushing the clock ahead? Do you guys ever do anything? I was just thinking one time we took the kids to here in Northeast Philadelphia, the Peeps Fest.
Yeah.
We went to that one year, which was kind of cool, but it was too crowded. When you're there with little kids, it's like you're packed in, and it's like, But it was pretty cool. It was fun for what it was.
Yeah, we did it one year. And I think we ended up going to like all the sort of secondary events that they have surrounding it all.
Okay.
And then when it came around time for the actual peep to drop or whatever, I think we had already left because it was just like you said, it was so crowded and crazy that I don't think we saw the peep fall, but yeah.
Are you all right? So are you a peep fan?
I am, and I
really?
will eat them like fresh or stale. Some people will only eat them stale. But I'll eat some peeps. How about you? Are you no?
No, I can't. I can't do them. Yeah. I'd always trade them. My brother at Easter, we usually got like the peeps for Easter, and I'd be like, all right, give me that Cadbury egg, and I'll give you all of my peeps.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny. I mean, we grow up in this area where the factory where they're made is literally 10 minutes from where we are, and they're either you love them or hate them kind of candy, and most people can take them or leave them.
That's pretty much
Anything else for you that you did with the kids, or
no? I just remember the peeps and lying and pushing the clock forward.
I
say pretty much basic stuff.
Yeah. I think only 2 years of the kids actually made it till midnight. Now this year they swear because now they're staying up much later that they'll make it till midnight. But usually I'm there by myself. Quietly celebrate. Turn the lights off. Go to bed.
I know last year I fell asleep like around 11 o'clock and Helen had to come wake me up. I'm like, you didn't have to. Thinking of famous New Year's Eves, how about Y2K? Do you remember where you were for that New Year's Eve?
I'm trying to think. It would have been first year out of college.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure that my girlfriend and I at the time stayed up and watched it.
Nothing specific.
No, I don't remember even that worry that everyone was all jazzed up about everything was going to shut down, and I think we just we watched it and we're like, well, the lights are still on. That was about it. Yeah. But I don't remember a lot of crazy lead up to it. I mean, other than obviously all the news,
leading up to it.
Of it all.
Sure.
In my personal life, I don't remember anything crazy. What about you?
I remember I was at my girlfriend's house. She lived in the Poconos, and her parents were pretty cool. She had my girlfriend had, 3 younger siblings, and one of them was in high school. I think he was a senior, and they let him have a big party with alcohol and everything. It was kind of crazy scenario. Yeah. It's a wild house party. You're like, this is weird. There's kids and there's parents. I'm like, what's going on? But, but I think by noon, I was watching the news and realizing as it unfolded, nothing was going to happen. I was all worrying over nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. It is funny though. There's a few signs that I see around where we are where there was one guy, he was selling wood, for a fireplace or something. If we lost power, that you were going to have to heat your house with, just firewood. And he still has a sign up that says Y2K firewood, which I think is really funny.
That's
coming
awesome.
up on 23 years later, he's still selling Y2K firewood.
That's funny.
Yeah. So
we all lived.
Yeah. We're still here to tell the tale.
Well, I do. Are you interested in any emergency? I'm sorry. I got one of those facts, but any interest in any couple of New Year's facts?
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. How about this? 12% of adults will go to the emergency room on New Year's Eve with drug and alcohol related issues. So 1 in 10 can't hold their liquor.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. This is a serious one though. So for all you Latch-Key Dad listeners out there, over 48,000 people get hurt in a car crash. So please use Uber.
Yeah. definitely.
And this one's pretty good. The average blood alcohol content of an adult on New Year's Eve is 0.095, which is pretty intoxicated.
Yeah, people are...
I think 0.03 is like the
legal limit.
The legal limit or something like that. So yeah. People having a little fun. And we can't end our little topic on New Year's without, of course, talking about a Philly tradition in the Mummers Parade. Have you ever gone to a Mummers Parade? Or
I have not. The most famous mummer I'll mention in a second, which is the current center for the Philadelphia Eagles, Jason Kelsey, dressed up in a mummer's costume for the Super Bowl speech. But yeah, I've not in person seen a mummers parade. How about you?
No, I never ventured. I will put it on like the next day on TV and stuff. But, if you're not familiar, if you're one of our Albanian listeners or anyone else out there, it's just like a funky competition parade that is specific to Philadelphia.
Yeah, and very very bright, sparkly, costume-driven sort of troops, that are all, each one has their own theme, and it's pretty wild.
Like Elton John threw up all over Broad Street. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, pretty wild.
All right. Well, one of the things that goes along with New Year's Eve is New Year's resolutions, Tim.
That's right. Have you thought about any for the 2023 year? Is there anything you're personally going to...
it's so lame. Just the whole, I'm going to lose 20 pounds, I'm going to start, get in shape and stuff. Yeah. You?
Honestly, I think a couple years ago I did the I'm going to give up sugar thing. Yeah. And I did it for 45 days, and then I was like,
wow, okay.
I need some cookies. So I think I'm just going to continue with working on making lifestyle choices to continue to try to stay fit. But yeah, I'm not doing anything, overly specific.
No. Yeah. I'll usually think of something, but I try to aim low so I can do it.
Exactly.
I did see, you put a list in of common resolutions.
Yeah, the Chamber of Commerce puts out the most common resolutions. So I'll just touch on a few of them. Eating healthier, obviously, more exercise.
Sure.
Getting your finances in order. I think everybody tries every year, and everybody needs to reset every year. This one I thought was interesting because drinking more water, that is one that I always am trying to focus on and inevitably don't do enough. And I recently passed out because I was dehydrated. So
that's true.
I'm going to try to drink more water this year. But this one I think was the one that I think we both thought was quite interesting, which is the floss consistently.
Yes, how kind of the Chamber of Commerce to remind us to floss more consistently.
I know, right?
That is too funny.
Yeah.
How about some resolutions? Any funny ones that you were aware of? Anything your friends ever said to you that I'm going to do this? And, I know that some of my friends come up with some funny ones, but...
yeah, I've heard a couple pretty good ones over the years. One was to perfect their charcuterie board skills.
Interesting. Okay. I like exercise your right to Taco Tuesday. So
I do often, sometimes on a Wednesday, sometimes on a Friday, but I do it often.
If you really think about it, once a week, it's only 52 tacos for the year. It's not a lot.
I tend to eat 3 to 6 at a pop. So, let's see. Some of the other ones that I thought were pretty good were work. Time will tell. Into conversations at least once a week.
I could see that.
Yeah. How's your resolution going? Well, time will tell.
How's that report going, Tim?
Well, time will tell. See, it works for anything.
It works anything. I did like this one. I thought this sounded like almost like a challenge more than a resolution. Was join a buy nothing group on Facebook and trade up to see how big of an item you can get. Kind of reminds me of that episode of The Office where Dwight Schrute starts with nominal, like a very small, like a paperclip maybe.
I think, yeah.
And then he like trades up until he gets like the best item in the thing. I was like, oh, sounds like fun.
Yeah. And I heard a story, it's probably urban legend, but that there was some guy on Craigslist that, got the, free item and then inevitably traded up to a house like he got, which it sounds pretty far-fetched, but I heard it from a couple different places, so maybe there's some truth in it. I have not researched it, so maybe in the report card I'll see if I can find some actual details on it. But
intern, get on that.
Yeah.
Those are great.
And this was the only other one that I'd heard that I thought was pretty funny, which is the got a little junk in the trunk. Find out what's in there. Literally, see what's in your trunk. What kind of treasures are there?
Oh, like in your car trunk.
Yeah.
That's a funny idea. Yeah, clean out and see what's hiding in there.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
I know a few people that their trunks have all kinds of like just years worth of stuff accumulated in the trunk. And,
that's funny. I did notice that we also found a 1980s resolution list in there, which I thought was quite wild. Did you find any in there that maybe made you chuckle?
Yeah, and I think some of them were pretty accurate things that I probably said when I was back in the 80s.
Yep.
One of which was to beat my high score at Pac-Man at least once a month. I'm pretty sure that was on the list.
One that my mom was a big fan, but she never missed a Sweatin' with the Oldies workout with Richard Simmons.
Richard Simmons.
She even had the deal meal.
Oh yeah,
you remember the deal meal?
Yeah, that's awesome. I feel like my mom, she didn't do the Richard Simmons, but there was it was on ESPN. I think the guy's name was like Gilad Jankelowitz or something like that, and him and his sister had these like aerobic workouts that were on ESPN, and so I feel like I did a fair number of them. Like my mom would be working doing these, I'd be like, I got nothing to do, so I'd be doing aerobics with Gilad.
Did your mom own leg warmers though?
I'd have to think that she did, but I honestly don't remember. I'll have to check with her.
Which is so weird. Why do you need to warm your leg?
I don't know.
Is that part of the calf get cold? And then somebody said,
Somebody somewhere came up with it. They pushed him hard in the 80s.
Millionaire.
Everybody bought them.
Yeah.
There's another funny one that I didn't have this problem, but I knew some friends who would need to make their handwriting neater.
That would be me.
Yeah.
I tried and tried.
This story, this reminds me of third grade.
Yeah.
We were learning cursive. Mm-hmm. And I remember our teacher, she would make me and like two other kids get up with our little, notebooks where we had written the letters and walk around the classroom and show all the other kids,
oh my God,
this is how you're supposed to do it. Nothing makes you feel smaller than having to be the kid who has to show other kids,
In gym class, we're playing dodgeball where Tim will get his.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah.
That's too funny.
I still have welts from that.
Yeah. And, it's kind of funny thinking about the kids now. Like, yes, they're taught cursive. I know that's kind of like an urban myth that they're not taught anymore. But handwriting is just not a thing that they practice or do a lot of.
No, everything's on the Chromebook or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, just straight up writing with a pencil. That just doesn't happen.
not
and what's weird, on a serious note, I've read about how writing it kind of writes it to your brain better than typing it.
Yeah, I can see that.
There's been times where I'll be like, all right, just write it out. Like if you have a presentation or something, just write it down it gets in your brain.
Yeah. And one thing that always drives me nuts is how kids are expected to do math in those little they have these weird. They're kind of like a pad, that they can. No, every time I sat and did math with the boys, I'm like, get a piece of paper right now. You're gonna put it out and you're gonna do it. Yeah. And I would show them the wrong way, but get the right answer. Yeah. And I'm like, how can you do math in that way? It doesn't sink in.
Yeah.
It would always drive me nuts. Did you have a pair of parachute pants?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's awesome that you brought that up because my mom gave me my pair when I was a kid not that long ago, and Nora was wearing them.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I had 2 pair though. I had a black pair and like a gray pair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. How about you? Did you have any?
I never was cool enough to have parachute pants. Nah.
I probably had mine like the year after they were like the cool pants, like that we got them at like a sidewalk sale, like on sale, like half off because it was, last year's style.
Last year's style, yeah.
But I still thought they were awesome. I think I used to take bandanas and like tie them around my leg and stuff with my parachute pants. Yeah.
Very cool, Tim.
Yeah.
As a kid growing up in the 80s, I think I certainly said this several times, is to make sure to never miss a single second of Saturday morning cartoons.
I think I achieved that.
Yeah. I'm sure there were several years there where I made that promise. A resolution, if you will.
This one's pretty good because I didn't have this particular lunchbox, but I did have one with the same actor on it, which was the $6 Million Man lunchbox. But I did have, as we've talked about in the past, I had the Fall Guy.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah. Fall Guy lunchbox.
Very cool. Definitely if you're, in that elementary school phase, you definitely made a resolution to maybe kick a home run in
kickball. Yeah.
Kickball, man.
Yeah. Did you ever have a home run?
I did, yeah. But you're just not strong enough when you're real little, and you're like, when you finally get up to it, man, it's, you rocket it.
Yeah. Well, I played soccer as a kid, so I feel like I always had a little bit of an advantage in kickball.
Okay.
And so, we did some damage in kickball, and I was also pretty good at jumping. So it'd always be like that they'd try to like whip the ball at you to get you out, and I would always like do the Eddie Van Halen jump over the ball, and I love kickball. I still do.
I think we need an adult kickball league.
I had heard that there are some YMCAs that have adult kickball leagues, so maybe we'll have to get on that. This one was pretty good. To be able to touch the basketball net.
It was a dream come true when I was finally able to. Yeah. Took me a little longer than most kids. I'm not exactly Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the height race.
Now, did you or any of your friends have one of the adjustable basketball hoops growing up?
No, we did not. Yeah.
There was one year I saved my money for I don't know how long, and I bought one of the adjustable backboards. Yeah. So, me and my friends, we were dunk masters, at whatever it was, 7 feet.
It was like the next evolution in Nerf, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was great.
How about the resolution to never lose a bookmobile book and have to live in fear of the wrath of the driver all year long?
Like on Seinfeld, Bookman was going to come show up for you. Tropic of Cancer.
Tropic of Capricorn.
Can't stand you. Let's see, what else have we got here? Oh, to stay up late long enough to read Tales of Fourth Grade Nothing with my flashlight, but without getting caught.
Yeah. Remember those days? Hiding underneath the sheet and reading. Yeah. That was fun. Yeah. I'm sure my parents knew and they probably didn't care.
Yeah, they're reading.
Yeah.
Just let them go.
Go ahead. Or maybe to watch Newhart like I'll never see anything that good again.
I know we talked about it before, but I really did like that show.
As a kid, it did. It made me laugh. I don't know. This is my brother Daryl and
my other brother Daryl. That was good.
It's a good show.
This was probably on my list as well, to hone my church lady impression to the point that I could make even Dad giggle a little bit.
Isn't that? I'm not impressed. You do it. You're the impression guy, Tim.
Isn't that special? It's special.
How about? Here we go. This is up my alley. To learn to take full advantage of the Atari paddle controls. Mm-hmm. Love those paddle controls.
This was a good one. I feel like this was only on days that I was sick and home that I would watch, I think, a little Romper Room, and then The Price is Right would come on, and to be able to break the Price is Right pricing code.
Nice. Did your mom bring you soup, saltines, and a little ginger ale?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And finally, to once and for all give up on the dang Rubik's Cube.
Well, I will say, I know my son is in fact smarter than me, because he spent one summer just obsessed with Rubik's Cube, and he watched all these videos about like the like hand motions of how to do it. And he practiced and practiced and practiced to the point where I can hand him a Rubik's Cube like right now that's all messed up, and he'll solve it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was one of those tricks I always wanted as a kid to be able to solve it, and yeah, never got there. Nice. But he can do it, so I feel like if I can, my son can. Is good enough.
Good enough. I did notice, as we hang out, you've got your 80s cool toys and stuff. I had the chain. I don't know if it's like a Rubik's Cube kind of toy, but I had that chain one too, which was lots of fun.
I feel like it was something like something of the links or so. The name is. We'll have to do it in the report card.
Well, there we go.
Secret of the links. I don't know. Well, we'll figure it out.
There you go. Some quick resolution facts.
Sure.
All right. So, about 44% of Americans make a resolution. You ready for this? This is funny. How many fail after the first week on their New Year's resolution, Tim? Of those 44% that make a resolution, how many fail?
I'll go 30%.
22% fail within the first week. How about the first month?
80.
Only 40.
Wow.
40%, okay. 60% are still going strong. Yeah. How about after the first 3 months?
Well, I went too high on 80, so we'll dial it back to 60%.
50%.
Okay.
And finally, after 6 months, 60% of people have given up on their New Year's resolution.
It's still not bad. Make it halfway through the year.
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys have a New Year's resolution that you'd like to share with us, I know my resolution is to make more Latch-Key Dad podcasts.
I'll second that.
There you go. Happy New Year's.
Yeah, Happy New Year's, everyone.
Well, Tim, it's about that time. It's report card time. How'd we do?
I think we did okay, but I think we have a few things this time. One, I believe we said that the legal alcohol limit was 0.3.
Yeah.
You got a little more room there. I think we can go all the way up to 0.8 before you're above the legal drinking.
I'm gonna report the report card because I think it's 0.03 and 0.08. Because 0.8, we'd all be dead. Yeah.
Okay, so don't ask me about
the rubrics link toy that we discussed was called the missing link.
That's the one I couldn't think of. I had mentioned that my mom would do aerobics, and it was actually a show from ESPN. I was right about that aired from 85 to 96, and that was Gilad Janklowitz. His program was called Bodies in Motion.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. It does appear that Ryan Seacrest does not own the Dick Clark Rockin' New Year's Eve, as it still is owned by Dick Clark Productions. So cool. We thought maybe Ryan Seacrest had taken it over, but it doesn't look like it unless he's got some secret dealings. Ryan, if you have comment on that, we'd love to have you here.
Yeah, sure. Come on. We'll interview you. And then there was one other thing that I had said about a guy who had traded something very small on Craigslist all the way up to a house, and that was in fact true. He started with a paperclip and did manage to, I think it was like 14 different swaps that he did till he finally got a house. So,
very cool.
Yeah.
Goes to show you. Cool. So what kind of grade are you going to give us, Tim?
A+.
Yeah.
Cool.